Dylan Dreyer, host of Today, talks about her son's celiac disease diagnosis. Dylan Dreyer, the 41-year-old anchor of Today, has spoken up about her 6-year-old son Calvin Bradley Fisher's diagnosis of celiac disease. She told followers that he had been complaining of agonizing stomach discomfort for more than a year prior to getting the disease. Dreyer talked openly about her son's illness with Today and People as well as on her own Instagram account. She also shared how their entire family has adjusted their dietary routine to accommodate the autoimmune condition. Dreyer disclosed that the family all consumes a gluten-free diet and even goes above and above by switching the cookware to prevent cross-contamination. The National Celiac Association, quoted by USA Today, states that celiac disease is an autoimmune condition that is genetic and primarily impacts the gastrointestinal tract when gluten is consumed. When a person with celiac disease consumes the protein gluten, which is present in foods like wheat, rye, and barley, for example, the lining of the small intestine may be harmed. Cramps, amenorrhea, bloating, brain fog, canker sores, constipation, diarrhea, vomiting, exhaustion, infertility, headaches, and rash are just a few of the symptoms of celiac disease. The sole option for treatment at this time is to follow a gluten-free diet. Dreyer, Dylan discusses her son's diagnosis. There was one time the pain was so bad that we thought maybe he had something like his appendix burst, the Today Third Hour co-host admitted to Today. He slumped over in discomfort. Then, Dreyer disclosed in an interview with Today on May 24 that following many trips to the emergency room, his blood work revealed that he had celiac disease, said the doctor. She also admitted, "I had no knowledge of celiac illness. I was aware that a buddy's friend who had it was unable to eat bread. I basically knew that at the time." In a People interview, Dreyer provided additional details on his diagnosis, stating that it was only later that he stopped constantly complaining of stomach pain every day. "I'd ask him, 'What does it feel like?' and he'd say sharp pain," she claimed, and this continued for months on end. This prompted Dylan and her husband Brian Fisher to frequently take their oldest kid to the emergency hospital, where he eventually underwent an endoscopy and was identified as having the condition. He had to be put under anesthesia for an endoscopy, which was required. "Watching your child undergo anesthesia is dreadful. It's uncomfortable," added Dylan. "You don't want to see it." However, after an endoscopy, it was discovered that the man's agony was being caused by a stomach ulcer. After explaining that they were sure it was celiac disease after medications had failed to help, she continued, "We were quite concerned because we believed it was something much more serious because of the way some of the results came back. When we learned that she had celiac disease, I was able to say, okay, it's an inconvenience, it's a life adjustment, but we can manage that. You start Googling and assuming the worst. We were really appreciative," she continued. "Thank you for listening to my story of Calvin's celiac disease diagnosis," she added in a post on her Instagram account on May 24. "I had a more in-depth discussion about it with People. We've had a trip, but we're making progress. Now that he feels better and I'm making sure he's eating excellent food, it's practically nothing to Calvin. All I can ask for is that." As was to be expected, a lot of people offered their support to Dylan and the family in the comments sections of her Instagram post and a YouTube video of the Today segment in which she addressed the illness. One follower on Instagram said, "Thank you Dylan for helping to spread celiac awareness from one mama of a celiac child to another. Watching Calvin discuss how having celiac illness affected him made me feel emotional. Everything is so recognizable to us."